think
LoGorrhea. Excessive and often incoherent talkativeness or wordiness. I like
that's
that.
this is LoGorrhea, and my guest is Storm Solomons. That's probably one of the worst introductions in the history of introductions. How are you doing today?
I'm good in yourself.
I'm doing all right. Lockdown is tough on the mind. It's really teaching me something new, don't you think?
I think it's teaching a lot of people a lot of things. More so importantly, patience, for one. A mad lot of patience and tolerance. It can drive you crazy. Being in four walls, basically, for how many weeks has it been now? It's been a couple
I
weeks.
think
I've
two
lost count.
weeks. I don't
It,
know
like
what day it is anymore.
it's been a bit longer for us because the film industry kind of a week before or 2 weeks before the lockdown, we literally the production companies like shut down.
Shut down. Oh
So
my
my
goodness.
roommate was yeah, my roommate was busy working on a Netflix film, like a local Netflix film, and sorry, it's not a film, it's a TV series, I think. And it's yeah, she came back home. She was doing like mad night shoots and stuff. Like I barely saw her, to like having a year always. Right now,
Oh,
we're just like trying not to get in each other's ways. No, I'm kidding. We literally spend so much time together. We're always just trying to find ways to keep each other sane. Is literally all it is.
no, yeah, that is the thing, trying to keep sane because that's also a different dynamic. Now people have to be around each other. You can't just go to work.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, like we're very fortunate that we have quite a big space. So if we are working on each other's nerves, we can just go into another room, spend the day there, whatever. Not that we have though. Luckily, we we love each other enough to technically always need each other. Like whoever wakes up first will get a coffee, and we'll wake them up with
Nice.
coffee, or I'll get woken up with coffee, or whatever, and we'll just try and figure out our day from there. Just trying to find purpose every day. And
And
yourself, how's
what
it been? How's it been treating you?
back? Sorry. Just I don't know. You see, this is the difference. I'll get back to your question now. No, I was just saying that it's obviously it depends on the house that you're in. How many
No, it
people's in
definitely depends on
there.
your environment. Mm.
You know what I mean? So
I'll
it's
tell you a
like,
scenario
tell
about
me, go
what we
ahead.
ended up dealing with.
What you
So
ended
just
up
before the
dealing with,
lockdown,
okay?
uh, Kelly's family, her cousin from America, was stuck in Durban because she's actually from Durban, so the family was in Durban. Her cousin, his wife, and their kid. And they came to Cape Town because they had one last flight out of SA back to the US just before the lockdown. And that flight got cancelled. So they got stuck with us.
What?
um,
Oh my
so
goodness.
it was pretty intense. It was just like these complete strangers. I didn't know them at all. Like I've never met them from a bar or so.
What?
And Kelly's probably seen them or met them maybe like twice at family functions and stuff like that because they're from America. So you only get to
Yes,
see them
true.
like once every five whatever years. Um, they've been with us this entire time. They apparently have a possible flight on the 9th or the 10th of April, which is like in 2 days' time. Um,
Oh yeah,
their embassy is,
4 days
their
actually.
embassies, yeah. Well, their embassy is fighting pretty hard to get them out of here. We're being pretty strict, but I feel like that's the only thing we're being strict about because, like, the whole lockdown rules came out and it was pretty like straight on. It was like, okay, stay at home, do that, blah 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 blah, and then like a week later, and then Cyril's like, okay, you can't go out but you can only go out if you have to go out. And I'm
It
like,
doesn't
that's
even make
basically like
sense.
that's basically, then there's no lockdown because then
Because
anyone
why
can
else do
just
you go
go wherever they
out?
want to. Exactly. And it's just like people are using any excuse just to go out, and I feel like in this, time, it's just very, very selfish to, oh, we need milk. Wait till you need like a whole bunch of things and then do one round
Exactly.
and go and get it and stay inside and protect yourself and everyone else who could possibly be at risk by being around you. But
And
anyway,
your take on all the, I mean, I'm sure you've been online. Everybody's been online way more than they have.
than usual.
That's why my internet is so slow. Come on, Telcom. But and what about the conspirators? Have you heard any
uh,
conspiracies about everything? Tell me.
I've heard a couple, but I've been like, even the news and stuff, I just try and stay away from. I'm just trying to, you know, take this time to just be within myself and deal with that instead of all the commotion going on outside me. I have heard some theories that um, COVID was. I heard that there's a viral laboratory in Wuhan, and that COVID was actually a you know this one.
No.
COVID was actually
Oh,
a weapon,
bioweapon. Yes.
a bioweapon, and
Yeah,
it
I've
was
heard that.
actually like like there was mad intentions to bring this out into the world. To I don't know how it would get China in power. I don't know. I saw this thing where it said like facts about COVID. China have won the World War III without firing any missiles, and I was like,
uh,
God damn, that's pretty real.
that's crazy. There's this book. It's called I think it's called The Edge of Darkness by I should have. Have you heard of it? I'm not sure.
I've heard that name before. I haven't looked deeper into
So basically, I got sent these things because I run around in some of these circles, and so then basically, in this book was written in '81, and then the guy speaks about how in 2020 there's going to be this whole epidemic's going to happen. I should have
it's
had
like
it. So
Nostradamus.
yes, but he even talks about Wuhan. He actually calls it Wuhan 17 or something. And this was written
Oh
in
shit.
1981.
Okay.
So,
I mean, come on. The Simpsons have been doing it for years now.
okay, yes, but the truth about that is, and this is just to clear the air because a lot of people are just running with things and it's obviously crazy, but they said that coronavirus has always been around, right?
Mhm.
There's coronavirus is what you call SARS or MERS disease. Those are all different
Yeah,
types of coronavirus. So it's
yeah,
so
I've
when you
heard of
see it,
that.
so when you see it in The Simpsons, I don't know if you've
Hmm.
seen that meme. Oh, I should have had all these things
All
prepared,
these things, yeah, yeah, it's okay.
but how do I do this? Sorry, I'm like interchanging as we speaking just to mix it up, so it's different screens while I'm speaking than when you speaking, and
All good.
so basically on The Simpsons, they talking about one of the coronaviruses, and they made the episode in '93. So that's why you could
Uh,
find that, but they're not talking about this one,
okay,
you know. But
okay.
also, it's connected to the whole 5G thing. I don't know if you've heard about that.
5G.
5G, as in like cell phone towers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have this page that I follow
Oh
on
wow.
Instagram. I'm trying, and it does say 5G something. Um, 5G, what is it? Oh man, I have no clue what it is, but it's like a spiritual guidance thing. And earlier today actually see something about SARS, like the different levels of the COVID virus, and then it was like kind of like in brackets.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
back. So you were saying, yeah.
that's all. I can't find it now, but it's some kind of spiritual page that mentioned something about it. Let me try to find it. Um, that I already followed.
What I should actually, I don't know, you can probably, just sorry to everyone if you hear like a kid in the back, a baby in the back. We just, we'll progress as we move along.
For sure. But yeah, tell me about the your
Oh,
conspiracies, what you've
so
heard.
I don't know if I should be saying this, the government's watching Zoom, but like, so I've got like a couple of these videos that's been sent to me about 5G and all the birds dying wherever the towers are. So in the UK,
Really?
yes, in the UK right now, there's people taking videos and they're like, look here, look, and there's just dead birds everywhere. And this one guy's walking around with a radiation meter and he's like walking around the streets and the levels are crazy. It's going like extreme. Then as he goes closer to the 5G tower, it hits
Yeah.
like crazy charts. And then in Wuhan, there's videos of them chopping down all the 5G towers and like celebrating and throwing water on the circuit boards and stuff because they believe that it's linked to the coronavirus. There's so many different theories. It will blow your
But
mind.
how is it, how does that, how is it linked to it? How does the radiation, what does the radiation have to do with this respiratory attacking disease?
So that's the thing. There's so much. It goes so deep. It goes crazy deep. Personally, I just find it interesting. I'm not out here trying to spread fake news as well, because I mean people are getting locked up these days. So I just want to clear that before I say anything. I'm
Yeah,
just saying what I've seen, and it's just interesting to have a conversation about it.
yeah,
But
of
with that
course.
being said, what were we talking about?
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
COVID conspiracies. I've also, I'm
Okay, there
actually
we go.
curious. Yeah.
Okay, so
No, you say?
no, yeah, I'm gonna. So you see what's the vaccine for COVID? Have you seen it?
Okay, this was actually what I was going to ask you,
Okay.
is about the vaccine, because they're saying that the vaccine is some kind of, um,
Microchip.
yeah, some kind of microchip that keeps the government on tabs of like everyone's movements, all of that stuff. Like I remember back in the day, they used to talk about how the world was going to start having like they were going to start putting like that Justin Timberlake movie,
Yes.
something about
In
time.
Time, one of my
In
favorite
time.
movies of all time.
Yeah, where you like kind of have like this barcode and you're basically controlled by that. And that to me just sounds very bizarre. I personally wouldn't be um, excited about a vaccine. I don't do well with vaccines, period, to
Oh, you
begin with.
mean just because I know
In
there's
general,
so
in
so
general,
you okay.
I would just deal with the coronavirus like everyone else with ibuprofen. I don't know.
A bit of anti-inflammatory.
Exactly, just go through the motions and let it go. Anything to keep the government away from me,
uh,
if that's the case.
but that's the thing. So now it's a chip that they put in your hand, and the thing is, it's in South Africa already.
Goodness. No, so did you hear that story? Oh, excuse me, it makes me so upset. There were these people that recorded these two French doctors talking about using South Africans as guinea pigs for the vaccine.
Yes.
And I'm just like, because we're like the lower third world country scum, if you will. I
The
don't
lower
know what.
hominoids.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like ridiculous. I'm just like, okay, just come to the third world country because we don't matter. What the hell?
That's
It's just,
exactly what they think.
and you would hope that times like these, with this kind of situation where we all have to, as a society, come together and help each other out, you would find some kind of balance and less, and more tolerance for everyone's differences, be it race or gender or status. It's just like,
100%.
can we come to the actual consensus of all of this? I mean, like, everyone's looking at it like with these conspiracy theories and, oh, this is so bad, this is the government's ploy to do whatever, whatever. And I'm just like, that's all cool. Like, that's on the surface. What's really happening deep down right now, what's really actually happening at the core of everything, is that nature is coming back to life.
Exactly.
For one. And that, I think, is the biggest, I think it's
Win.
the greatest gift that could ever happen to us. When nature finally gets her chance to have a breather and come back and redo everything that we have undone and fucked up. You know what I mean? And it should also be it should also be like a big wake-up call to us to see how much destruction we have caused and how much it's alleviated, like how much our presence has alleviated all of that pressure for nature. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it should be so like, it should be like a slap in the face. Like, look at what you've done and look at what you sitting down, staying at home and not being actively destructive, and how much like peace and growth it's doing for the world in general.
Exactly.
It's just like, can we maybe just focus on that instead of whatever Trump is
Conspiracy.
doing?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, I just really don't care.
And I think that's also the other thing with a lot of these media outlets is they got nothing to talk about now, if you really think about it.
Exactly.
But just to touch on what you were saying earlier, it's a video I wanted to show you, but I mean, I just got this working, so that can wait. But
Okay.
it's this video of how, because the streets are so empty, how nature is just going into the cities. So you've got...
Exactly.
I actually wanted to show you the video, but it's like...
I have a video for you too, I was holding.
In Paris, there's pigs just running through, wild pigs running through the streets. In Thailand, it's these monkeys. In Wales, the goats are everywhere. So, and it's not
Dude, we just had a killer whale in Kalk Bay.
What?
There's a deer. I have a video of a deer, a little baby deer, having the time of its life on an empty beach in Burton Beach, which is like here in Knysna. It's just like incredible. When have you ever seen a deer on the ocean? And this little buck is having the best time of its life. It's incredible. Like, the oceans are packed with wildlife now. And they've been so scared to come in anywhere near us because we're just everywhere. We're like pollutants.
We are the COVID.
Like, we are the COVID. That is probably the exact freaking explanation to all of that's the biggest point of this whole thing, is like, we're the disease.
Because the animals were on lockdown the whole time. And now they're like,
exactly.
Oh, wow, they're gone.
And now they're making right what we have done wrong. And I just genuinely hope that after all of this, that when we go back to our normal lives, that we have a bigger and greater understanding and respect for nature, like in its, everything.
Entirety.
Just wherever we are, just be understanding and respectful to whatever's going on around you, instead of just like, oh, Amazon, fields to bold, whatever in it. And it's just like, no, asshole, don't do that.
And
so yeah,
okay,
hopefully that helps.
No, it should. So basically, obviously, I don't know what happened in the beginning of this. When I edit it together, I'm gonna have to like cut out all the parts where it didn't really sort of match up. But
Yeah.
what's your routine? Everybody's got their routine in this lockdown. What's yours from beginning
Okay.
to end?
So it's so dismal. It really is. It's hardly a routine. It's very, very depressing. But I will wake up and I will do some yoga and some meditation just to like wake myself up and try and find some kind of purpose. Then I wake my room. Oh, we just got kittens, by the way.
I saw.
Luke,
I was
Luke and
gonna. I'm gonna.
Leia.
We're gonna touch on that at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I feed Luke and Leia as soon as I wake up. We're gonna have to get into a serious routine once we start working because those are heavy hours. Um, and then I usually jump back in bed and read, which is really sad.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
read and then we'll find something to watch. I recently just directed a music video for a friend of mine, so I was busy
Mm.
editing that. And then yes, we are getting old now, Michael. We need to become a director like ASAP Rocky. We can't waste any more time.
Yes.
So I've been writing and I've just directed this. I have a short film that I want to do, but it might have to wait for summer. I'm busy writing a short film for some friends of mine who own horses, and they want to do some
Oh
stunts with
wow.
horses. So I want to do something really cool with that. So yeah, I've just been doing that, reading, watching a shitload of TV, which I really hate. But I've just gotten my roommate into Downton Abbey.
Doubt.
And
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Downton Abbey is like, so I watched it last year when I had my appendix out, and my mom got me into it, and it is literally like crack. It's like, and luckily it's like each season has like 6 episodes. It's basically, it's very old. It's an old TV series, BBC TV
It
series about
sounds like one of those British
yeah, it's very
shows.
BBC. It's you know the aristocratic people back in the day, and they had their
Yes.
servants and stuff. But it's kind of like the servants' perspective and their lives, and they like how they run the ship and how they run like this house
Oh.
because it's a massive. It's Downton Abbey is the building or the mansion that they live in, and the house itself is a business, you know, running a business, and that's what they do. It's awesome though. It's really like it's lovely just to see how, and they kind of work with the evolution of times. So it starts from like 1819, no 1919, and then it'll like go into the 20s and the 30s and stuff, and the evolution of the telephone and that kind of stuff. It's
Oh.
very very cool, and like just like the evolution of your perspective and opening your mind to change, you know what I mean? Because back then it was very racist, it was very,
Of
you know,
course.
there was statuses and hierarchies and all of that stuff, and women especially, like empowering women. And then you have like your one daughter who's very very outspoken and
Oh yes,
very into like
because
women's rights and stuff like
mm,
that. So it kind of like it builds on that, and you kind of grow with as the characters grow and develop. It's very cool. She's loving it. I know I went through it like in a week, all 6 seasons. It was a bit sad.
6 seasons in one week. That's
I mean, there's
almost
six
yeah.
episodes a season, so it's very
Oh, I
busy.
mean that's. I'm surprised it took you that long. So
Whatever.
so basically, that leads me into the next thing that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But actually, I thought of something else. Have you seen the show You?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get into it just because, no offense to Penn Badgley, it's just like every time I see him, I just see Gossip Girl, and it's basically the same character, only just 10
Weirder.
times worse.
Okay.
Because, I mean, in Gossip Girl, he ended up being Gossip Girl, right? So in You, it's basically him being Gossip Girl out front, just on crack, if you will.
Okay, so
You know what I mean?
basically, it's from. This isn't new. I mean, if you've seen Gossip Girl, then you'd be able
It's
to
not.
see the similarities.
Yeah, I mean, like I watched like 2 episodes of You, and then I was
Only
just like,
two.
I just couldn't. I wasn't just because I did, and I don't like talking about it just because like what you speak, you bring out into the world. But I have experienced that, and I just don't need to go
I
through it again.
see what, like, the whole stalker,
Yeah, those people are very, very in need of help, and I just don't want to get into that.
which is very interesting because you're actually the first person to speak about that. Normally, the people
Having
who
a
are
stalker.
no, just because I mean, most of the people I talk to, they like the show, and some of
Yeah,
these guys
listen.
like it a bit too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like, why are
why.
you smiling like that?
Why do you like it? It's not
Exactly.
okay. It's not healthy.
But you
Um,
see, okay, what they do is they basically everybody does it. Everybody sort of cyber stalks. You meet someone at a festival.
mhm.
You're on Instagram. You're stalking. But now they fuse the two worlds. So now it
Yeah.
makes those people feel like they could be. It just relates to those feelings. And I
Mm,
mean, I even got
yeah.
weirded out about it. To be honest, I binged it 2 seasons, and then I was kind of like out in the mall, and like I just kind of looked through a window, and I saw a beautiful girl, and I was just like staring. I caught myself staring, and then I was like, oh my goodness, um, am I, what's his name, Jeff
A
Goldblum, or
stalker.
you know what I mean? I'm like, my
Jeff
house.
Goldblum.
What's his name in the show? I don't know. I forgot.
I don't know, but Jeff Goldblum is the dude
And
from
yeah,
Jurassic Park.
he
I
had the
get you.
worst Hot Ones episode in the world. But anyways,
Oh, really? I haven't checked it out. Have you
have you
seen
been?
Zoe Kravitz's Hot Ones? It's pretty good.
Something crazy. I when I was watching her episode, like, you came to my mind,
Oh,
kind
yeah?
of.
How
Yeah,
so?
just
Oh, because she had that haircut I used to have.
yes, from back in the, and like, you guys sort of look similar in a weird way.
Oh, God, don't tell me that. Shit, I wish.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there. So that's, yeah. What is your top three Netflix? If you had to choose just three for lockdown forever, what would
Top
it be?
three, sex education,
I've heard about.
100%. Sex education is so great and it's so important. I felt so like overwhelmed,
Enlightened.
especially the second season. Yeah, like it's it just points at every single thing that any teenager, young adult needs to just understand about sex. I mean, there's these beautiful, like, especially the second season. I can only talk about the second season now because it's all I remember. But there's this one beautiful episode where all the girls are they end up in detention and they have to realize what each of them have in common. And the profound and horrible answer to that was they've all been like verbally abused by dick. You know
Wow.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've all been like objectified by dick. And it was just like that is so profound for every girl and every guy to understand that that is something that happens and that is something that needs to stop. And the only way it can stop is from awareness. You know what I mean? And that like it's such a good show. Just watch it. Just
Okay,
do the most. And
that's
it's
number one.
funny and it's yeah, and it's got like that great like British humor, you know, that dry,
I've been saying
witty
it for years.
humor.
UK is some of the best. You can't beat it.
Best humor. You
It's the
cannot beat
drama
it.
from the UK, anything. Because I mean, keep me real in
Thing.
fear. But that's number one. Number two.
Yeah, no. Number two, what did I binge? Oh, so it's not on Netflix. Um, I think it's on Showmax. I think everyone's like it killed the Emmys like killed, like annihilated the Emmys, and Phoebe is just queen. Like I could only wish to be half the writer that she is. Fleabag, Fleabag, watch Fleabag. It
Okay, so
is
wait. So
bad.
you skipped across quite quickly now.
Sorry.
Is that what it's?
Oh, it's called Fleabag.
Okay, so that's number two is Fleabag.
Yeah.
Okay.
It killed the Emmys,
Okay.
and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just like so incredible. She stars in it, and she wrote it,
Oh,
um,
perfect.
and it literally annihilated all the Emmys, like every single category, basically. And I think she also got a Golden Globe. Oh, she's so fire, dude! Watch it. So it's literally this woman who has she I don't necessarily know if it is a sex addiction, but
Oh
she's
wow, I
all kinds of
see.
fucked up.
Yeah.
She's all kinds of fucked up, and it's as funny as it is, and it's funny and charming, and you know the British humor, and I love the whole. She does it so well, and a lot of things don't. A lot of shows don't really do the whole third wall kind of situation where the actor actually talks to the camera.
Oh
She does it. She does
yes.
it so brilliantly, and it's also like it's so heartwarming. It's got such a strong core story to it, and I think that's what really made it the success that it is. But yeah, Fleabag for sure, Sex Education for sure.
And the
Um,
final one.
the final one, I'm so sorry. I realized that all of this has to do with sex.
I know that's what I was like. Okay, I guess we are in quarantine.
I'm sorry, but these are really, really good
Sure
quarantine,
they
whatever.
are.
Actually, funnily enough, I haven't watched any of these things during quarantine. I
Uh,
haven't. I've been going through old stuff, like trying to update my roommate on some good movies because she's lacking in that list. So we've just been going through like all the old school, like we had an 80s day where I made her watch like Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, St.
oh
Elmo's Fire,
wow.
that kind of stuff.
I might have
Um,
seen that on Instagram, to be honest. I might have actually seen
yeah, yeah, I did. I did post something about us watching The
something
Breakfast Club.
about the 80s.
Yeah, yeah, we had an 80s day where I made her watch that. And then I made her watch one of my favorite movies from my all-time favorite director, Taika Waititi, who gave you Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, really?
He also gave you Jojo Rabbit, but his all-time, like my all-time favorite of his, is Hunt for Wilder People. It is,
Yes, you posted
oh,
that movie actually.
yes! I
That
have been
is,
literally whoring that movie out to everyone. I'm just like, watch this movie, literally to every single person I come into
it's
contact with.
one of the funniest. And this is the other thing. He was in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, Dennis something. The
But the thing
actor,
is,
yeah, Ricky Baker.
I couldn't even explain to anybody who that was. And I was like,
Because
oh,
nobody's watched Hunt for Older People.
it's literally one of the funniest movies. This isn't a plug. They
It's so
aren't
charming,
sponsoring
man.
this.
It's
I
so
wish they
cute.
were.
I
Um,
wish.
it's one of the funniest. It's a New Zealand accent as well. It's really
Yeah,
taken.
I know. And just like the beautiful like New Zealand bush, like that forest is just
Lord of the Rings. Think about it.
incredible. It's so stunning. Like every scene is like a perfect picture. Like you could just screenshot that and you could frame it and it'll look like a piece of artwork, you know? That's just
100%.
Taika though, obsessed with him. My third TV series is another fucked up TV series. I'm so sorry to do this, but it
I
is
think
really,
that's the
really,
narrative.
really great. I mean, yeah, it's called Pure, Pure.
I think
It
I've
is
seen
not. It is on. Also, it's also on Showmax. It's not on Netflix.
that.
It's also British. I love my British TV series. But it's about this girl who's and I don't think there's many people who could relate to her, but how she's dealing with the problems that she deals with and how she goes through it is very much something that anyone could relate to. But I loved how pure and innocent it was in its vulgarity. So this, hear me out.
I'm
So this
listening.
poor woman has this condition where she has the most obscene, uncomfortable, awkward, erotic visions, like mad. Like she would just be walking. Say she gets on a bus, and she literally picture everyone naked having an orgy. That kind of stuff. Like she'll like the most like think about you sitting looking at somebody and thinking about the most obscene, crazy, disgusting, filthy thing that could ever happen. That's what comes to mind, just like that to her. And she feels like such a broken, fucked up human being for that. And it's just like her journey and how she goes through that and the people that she encounters and stuff. Funnily enough, I actually got to work with one of the actresses that was in it. It was very cool. They're not having a second season. Not that I know of. She also told me no, they won't. But it's a really great show. You should watch it. I think like the way it ended was pretty like okay, cool. I don't think there is need for a second season, but you'll binge it in a day. It's awesome. I
And
loved it.
that's called Pure.
Pure.
Sex
Some
Education,
showmax.
Fleabag, and Pure
Yes.
seems to be the list. I was gonna say when you were mentioning how she pictures all that stuff, I was like, hey, it sounds like one of
Yeah.
my days. Um,
Already.
but yeah, so yes, Layla and Luke from Star Wars.
Leia.
Leia,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
I
You gotta
wanted to say,
apologize to all the Star Wars fans.
yeah, I know, sorry, Star Wars fans. What I wanted to say is that I did see on your Instagram story you and your cat, and I was like, wow, your kitten is so it's like loving and
Loving.
yes,
She is not a cat.
Ginger obviously. So shout out to my gingers. But
Indeed,
but
indeed.
that leads to what I wanted to say. Have you seen? I'm watching a show called Tiger King. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Okay, this is why I didn't want to mention it because
I'm
it's
still
shocking.
watching it.
I watched it and like throughout watching it, I was just like, why? Like by the third episode, what episode are you on?
Honestly, at the end of the first episode, that's where I am. I kind of
Oh
just
shit! I can't really talk much about it then, but like
do like
after the
okay.
second,
Should I keep watching?
after watch it. No, definitely finish it. Just because the only reason I finished it was just to get an understanding of everyone's memes about it.
Oh
Because I was like,
yes.
what is this? Like, what is this meme supposed to mean? Is it supposed to be funny? I don't know. Let me watch it. The memes are funny. Don't watch it just for the memes. But I got so irritated because after the second episode, it stopped being about the tigers. And I was like, you have these massive, fat, overweight tigers still drinking milk. And I'm pretty sure at like a certain age, they stop drinking their mother's milk in nature.
Exactly.
Why
They
are you
leave.
still
Yeah.
feeding them milk and they're massive, fully grown tigers? And they literally lure them in like with bottles just to show people. And it just irritated me how America likes to monopolize on everything. It's just
Yeah.
like, how can I make this entertainment, showbiz? How can I make money off of this? And it's just so impure. It's so just, ugh, like these people are the scum of the earth, and I'm sorry to say it, to judge even, because who the fuck am I to judge? But at the same time, what are you doing to God's creatures? That's not okay. And you can see like some of the tigers, they such beautiful creatures. They're so beautiful. but you can see like in their eyes. There's this one, you'll see a clip of this beautiful white tiger in a Cadillac, in like a
Music
what's
video
it
or
called?
something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he's sitting in the car. It's got no roof, roofless car, whatever the hell it's called.
They
And
it sits out or something. That's what the top
yeah, like
down.
top down situation, like, ooh, I'm rich, I'm cool, I have a
Yeah.
white tiger. But you look at this tiger and it's squint and you can see how inbred it actually
Oh, I
is.
saw
And it's
that.
just
That was weird.
so unnatural. And I'm like, this is exactly what is wrong with the world. And by the end of it, I just got upset that only one of them went to jail when every single one of the people that were interviewed on this
Spoiler.
TV series, sorry,
No, it's
everyone needs to
fine.
be arrested. Everyone should be arrested. Even Carol Baskin. That chick needs a mental hospital. I understand her good, like, intentions. Definitely great intentions. And I truly, truly, honest to God, don't give a shit what happened to her husband. Another rich white man gone is better for all of us. I really don't care,
Wow.
honestly. What I do care about is what the hell is happening to all these tigers. Like, everyone just forgot about the tigers and everyone's worried about who killed Carol Baskin's husband. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Can we please just take these cats out of America and put them where they belong? Oh, you can't do that anymore because they can't survive in the wild anymore. Do you know what I mean? Just stop
Yeah.
breeding. Just shut everything down. I don't know.
It
It just really
was, yeah,
upset
it
me.
was very disturbing because they were saying a white tiger doesn't actually exist, and then they showed all these like
It shouldn't.
deformities on them, and the one's face is like weird. It wasn't a tiger; it looked like some weird animal, and I think I might have switched it off around there, to be honest, because I was like,
Ugh, dude. I
I
mean,
don't want
like,
to see this.
I don't know, man. Like, everyone's watched it, and I hate the hype that it's getting, but I'm just hoping that the hype that it is getting is helping, like, people like Peter and other situations to really, like, have a greater force on the laws about owning tigers, because nobody should be owning tigers.
And I mean, and that stat that they had was also pretty interesting, where it was like something about there's more tigers in the West than there are in the wild today.
Yes, that
What
really
is that
boiled me,
about?
eh?
I
Oh
was
God,
like,
that boiled me. Because I'm like sitting here and I'm watching like,
they're amazing
these rich
creatures.
people making money off of these beautiful, beautiful, incredible animals who should be powerful and filled with scars and scruffed up and just in the wild doing what they're supposed to be doing. And oh man, it just breaks my heart that there was a time when uh, tigers were almost uh, uh, what's it called, extinct in
Extinct, yes, I
India.
remember that. Hearing
But
something about Siberian
but
tigers or
all of a
something like
sudden, there's way more tigers in America, and that just I was
it's
I
as
just
you were
didn't
saying
know.
earlier, it's this whole thing of entertainment, and it's like a show and tell. Oh, like, look at what
Not what
I
I was
have,
in.
and but give me some money so I can show you, like a circus,
Exactly. And you can see, like, throughout, you'll see when you watch if you do watch the rest of the show, how this Tiger King, what's Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic sounds like a stripper.
I mean, he's very flamboyant. He's incredibly gay, obviously, and
Yeah,
I
I
think
know,
in
I
that,
saw that.
like, he's very eccentric, but for him it was like he began with, it's so powerful to have like these powerful creatures under your control. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And he was pretty blunt about it, and I like respected that. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, we understand the ego boost of it, but it just becomes bigger and bigger, and you could see how this man is so like he's so hungry for fame that he literally becomes all like consumed by it, that he literally doesn't give a shit about the tigers by the end of it. It's literally like that was just like a extra bonus to get him the publicity he wanted.
Yes, because he talks about how his that thing happened with his dad or something. I just remember vaguely something happened with his dad where, and then he tried to kill himself. He tried to drive off a bridge. So I think that whole struggle for power is obviously from young. You know, I'm no
I mean,
psychologist. So I
yeah.
don't really know what I'm talking about,
I'm no psychologist either, but I feel
but
like a huge but
but
I do feel like a huge reason, and I always like I go into full on arguments with people about this, but there are reasons. There's always a reason for some reaction. There's always a reason for, and I do feel like it's a lot about how we're nurtured, how we're raised. I do feel like it has a massive reason as to who raised us, how they raised us, and what they made us believe. Um, I mean, toxic masculinity, that comes from how our parents raised us and how their parents raised them. You know what I mean? And then society's further, like, you know, conditionings. It's just like adding on to that. It's just like a
But I will tell you
cycle that
this.
never
I
ends.
will be honest, and the whole on that whole topic of the toxic masculinity is that some people also need to realize is that there's some guys who find it um, sort of try hard and weak in a sense when we are able to see other guys doing that, and we're like, you know, it's almost like a weak man's play.
Yeah.
You see, hey, look at me. I'm scared of the room. I'm not sure where I fit in this hierarchy of in the social gathering. So I'm gonna try act out. Hey, look at me. I hope everybody else is aware of me because I'm scared that they're aware of me. So a lot of the time it comes from weaker men. You know, I think
Yeah. I mean, it also, I think somewhere along the line, it was also how they, especially with men, um, how their fathers made them feel. Do you know what I mean? Like you, growing up, your dad is somebody you're supposed to look up to, and if your dad keeps belittling you, and you know you're gonna find ways to be something that you're not in order for him to see you in
exactly.
the way
Look
that
at
you
me,
want him to
Dad.
see you. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a stripper now. You know,
Situation.
but but it is like it is daddy issues. I mean, or, like you said, it all comes from when we're children. You know, you can see it. It's quite obvious. I mean, obviously in the colored communities, you see it. How many people um, don't have dads and stuff, and then you see the way they treat women and stuff, and which is kind of weird because, well, actually, it's not weird, and this is just me putting things together. Obviously, I did have a little bit of a smoke before this, so you know, we in lockdown.
No worries, I had a wake and bake too. I didn't want to bring that into my routine.
It's just, you know, when you're
The
on
people don't need to
quarantine.
know that's part of the routine, okay?
Oh, okay, because I was wondering something feels like it's missing. But just that, so people are upset with their dads, and so they take it out on the grandma that's raising them. And then in turn, when they get older, they're so used to putting their emotions on a woman that it switches over to now someone they're
Yeah.
with. And then you know, the domestic violence and
Yeah.
all. That's where, you know,
I
so
also just
patterns.
to add on to that, I also feel like there's also men that are raised by just single women, but I do feel like they should become better at treating women or knowing how to treat women if you are raised by a single woman. But the problem that comes with that is also the mom might have boyfriends that come over that are also just as fucked up. Or you know what I mean? Like there's always
Most
some kind of
is
influence, some kind of thing that fucks up the system. Not to mention genetics too, and
because there's a lot of
hereditary
that
issues.
going on as well. You know, consciousness
Yeah.
being passed down. You know, Apple and all that. But you see, this is the other thing that I realized, or as you were saying that, is that I think also the kid like blames the mom for the dad not being there. Do you
Oh
see?
yeah. Oh yeah, that happens too.
So I think so now they go, oh, but it's your fault that this person
Mm,
isn't here, so that's why I'm taking it out on you. You know, so I think that's also where you would
yeah.
think, hey, oh, he's raised by his mom, so he's going to be good to women. But the single parent,
Mm,
that's probably where it
yeah.
fails. Um, as you can see, I've got my full quarantine um,
Listen, I
garb
showered last
on.
night only to get back into the same clothes that I was wearing. Do you know what I mean? It's
Really?
literally like I stay in pajamas, wash, put my pajamas back on for 2 days at least, and then I'll
Two
change to clean
days.
pajamas. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
God.
And then I'll wear cleaner pajamas, and then you know what I mean. The cycle goes on again. It's literally just like putting on pajamas and then putting on clean pajamas. It's one long, never-ending Sunday. Is all this is.
Exactly. Um, what I saw this cool meme earlier about vacay all day or something.
Ah,
Um,
I really don't want to treat this like that.
it's
That's like the. Sorry, I just want to jam this in. Yeah.
so what I was saying was that I saw a meme, well, something different, but it was saying, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it was saying that if you come out of this lockdown with having learned no new skills, um, you weren't busy, you were just undisciplined or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. There'll be days where I just don't get out of bed and I'm just like, fuck life right now. Why? What's the point? Um, but there's also that moment where at the end of that day, I'd feel completely riddled with guilt that I've wasted an entire day not doing anything productive. Um, and being productive doesn't mean like writing the novel you've always wanted to write
Exactly.
or whatever, like we're not talking about extreme things, but just try and be a little bit more, like take this time to focus on yourself, on your health. Do something for you every day. Uh, Paint if you want. Read a book. Do the things that just take the opportunity and take the advantage where you can. So whatever you wanted to do when you didn't have the time to do it, that doesn't include like going overseas or going anywhere other than your house. Do it. Try and do that because I guarantee you'll feel so much better and less like some couch potato that's turning into the people from Wally. You know?
Yes. And yeah, that is true. Like you can do things, and actually, you like reiterated the thought in my mind. I think I said like that. Is that you don't have to beat yourself up as well. Like there's no,
No, not at all.
as you said, you don't have to write the novel you've been wanting to write. There's no need for
Although that
that.
would be amazing.
I might do it, but I mean for the normal
Okay.
um, no, but really, so I mean, if you do want to wake up and say as simple as I do, I mean, I've done it with you, the dynamic stretch, Um, I always had this idea in my head, oh, every human being should wake up in the morning and do that. And your body
Mm.
will be awake. You won't even really have to do any other exercise if you just did
Yeah.
that every single day. And then I found myself not doing it, lying in bed. And I was like, and that's when I realized what you were saying. Like, I'm thinking about all these big steps, like,
Hmm.
these big steps to the moon that I can achieve in a day because I have time. And
Yeah.
so if you fall short, the trajectory is low. The higher you shoot, the harder
Yeah.
you're going to fall. So, but then if you have these small steps, like making the bed, even if it's getting in the shower and getting back into the pajamas, like just
It's still, you did something.
and little victories will lead to the bigger victories,
Yeah.
and
No,
especially
definitely.
to keep your mind at ease because I look at, there's a study that once said like you can look at it online where they put all these rats living in the same space on top of each other,
Goodness.
sort of like an apartment building, and within like 2 weeks, all the rats had lost their minds because they were too close to each other.
Yeah.
So, but not that it's funny, but it's just interesting because human beings are a lot like
Mm.
those type of vermin, and so that's
That's why
actually
they
what's
taste on rabbits.
that's actually what's going on in the cities and things,
Mm.
when you actually
Yeah.
see people who have a little bit of dementia because they're on top of each other. Human beings aren't supposed to be in such close
So,
proximity to each other for hours and hours. That's why things are peaceful when you're out in nature, because you like, it's like, no, that's how it's supposed to be.
yeah.
And so what would you suggest to people if they are feeling stressed? Oh, wait, sorry. Remember that. How's your girl Billie Eilish doing these days?
Billie Eilish.
Just to bring it up, because you were the first person to play me a Billie Eilish song, Ocean Eyes,
Oh yay.
years ago.
Yeah.
And
She's killing it now.
and now it's just, she's like a star, like through the
Yeah,
roof, and
she's mad.
so quick as well. It's pretty insane. And what do you think of that? Because you were kind of pushing her before she was famous.
I didn't even remember that. I totally forgot. Damn, she switched it up real hard from Angel Eyes because she was
Ocean
really like
Eyes.
Ocean Eyes. Sorry, Ocean Eyes. God, it's such a beautiful song too. Um, and the video, there was two. There was a dance one and then just like a normal audio one or something like that. But she, I just, she went like from 0 to 100 like
Real
in
quick.
a split second, and rightfully so. Her voice is
Amazing.
magic. It's literally magic. She I love where she went with her style because it was more of a I'm doing this for me, because you hear so many like artists who, I don't want to name drop, so I'm not gonna.
Just
A
do
lot
it.
of artists who eventually like eventually kind of like amalgamate into the same person. Do you know what I mean? Like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Yeah, you
Yeah.
rap differently, but you kind of look the same situation. You know what I mean? And she kind of went her own way, and she was like, "Scratch that. I'm not gonna do that. My body's gonna be covered so that you focus on
Exactly.
the real deal, what the actual artistry is about, and why we're doing what we're doing. There's no booty shaking, there's none of that. We're going for the core reason of we have a message to say and we have a fucking incredible voice to say it with, so hear me out. So I had mad respect for Billy, and she's so young too. She makes me feel so inadequate as a
She
human
makes you
being.
feel old. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that too.
It's like, wow, what was I doing then? I
I
was like
know,
trying to
right?
figure out how I'm gonna buy alcohol and stuff.
Literally.
But also, it's true what you said. Like, she could have easily taken that Taylor Swift type of routes, to be
And she
this.
doesn't look like a T-Swift kind of girl though.
Oh yeah, like she's super gangster actually. But
No, she's
so
a G.
back to the question. So I did see
Yeah.
this thing earlier on Instagram. I think I took a screenshot of it where um,
By
people.
the way, if you have earphones on, how's the recording?
Um, no, because it's the app that's recording it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of scared me for a second. I was like, what is she
I was
talking?
like, because you have your mic that you're
Yes,
recording audio on.
but it's you probably wondering
It's
how
through,
are
yeah.
you being
Okay.
recorded.
Yeah.
So it's on this
Because of
on Zoom
yeah, like a
itself.
one-sided person conversation.
That would be crazy. So this is basically it. And I'm gonna ask you what advice you would give, I guess. Um, so I just want to switch this. So it says this lockdown is extra harsh on your mental health when you're an overthinker who constantly needs distractions to not feel sad and lonely. Um, that was just a Instagram post from earlier. So what do you do if you're feeling like that? I mean, like they do say overthinker. So
Mm.
does it apply to you? And what would you do if you were?
If shit, I actually read an article of a friend of a friend's article, and she was writing about how lonely it can be when you're alone during this lockdown time, when you're in quarantine and you are alone. I don't know what that feels like. I'm dealing with the frustration of always having that person around you.
Up to
Mind
full.
you, yeah, up to four, and that is it feels like such a first world problem. She's and that's not to say that it's a struggle either or frustration, because I am very blessed to get along with my roommate very well too.
I
Like
mean, it
we
sounds
have,
like a dream over there.
and you know what? I'm very blessed. I'm gonna say that for sure. There were moments where, like, obviously, the US family here was kind of like, oh no, this is, what a fuck up. We wanted to have this quarantine two-man party situation with our kittens, and and they have like this 5-year-old girl daughter, which like causes a whole lot of challenges for us keeping them away from the
Challenges.
kittens. Yeah. Um, but it also it creates a lot of entertainment throughout the day, I suppose, like something different. I mean, they're gonna leave in a couple of days, and it's gonna feel very empty. Um, but for people alone, I know that this girl who wrote the article mentioned that she fostered a dog, and it was the only way that she could, like, it's literally the only reason that she gets up in the morning is to look after this dog, because other than that, who would she, other than FaceTiming or Zooming the rest of her family or whatever, like she's stuck at home all alone. Um, I would definitely get a pet. A lot of people have been fostering and adopting now because of the situation, and a lot of rescue homes and stuff have been shut down because of the lockdown, because of the quarantine.
Oh no,
So,
that's the worst.
so yeah, so I would implore anyone and everyone to just foster or adopt if they can.
Okay, that's
Um,
actually not bad.
that's
Although
that's definitely
I
one
will
way.
say you can't.
Mm,
This isn't like you get a pet. You're like, hey, lockdown's over. Okay,
yeah,
that's terrible.
no, yeah.
That is
But
terrible.
that's what fostering is, unfortunately. That's taking a dog or a cat home, looking after it for a while, and then giving it back should you feel the need to give it back situation. It's more of a trial period of let me. But I mean, when does that actually happen? When you foster an animal and want to give it back? That hardly ever happens, because animals have just this pure, unconditional love that I don't know. We struggle to harness in
Yes, I mean,
ourselves.
I got three new dogs.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing. Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
Actually, I don't want to tear up on this, but my dogs, like, even just during this conversation, I was kind of like, I wonder what they're up to, you
I
know.
know. What was the beginning
and
of
and
layer? Oh god. Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I
no, it's so
I thought she was gonna make her appearance, but please don't get up.
oh,
Um,
I can totally bring her through.
now
She'd love
maybe,
it. She loves the camera for some reason.
of
I don't know.
course,
She's the weirdest cat, and her brother is literally completely different. Luke is a cat. Luke
yeah,
is a cat's cat, you know what I mean? Like the regular, on my own time, can you show me love? But only on my conditions. Like, don't come at me. I don't want your attention. Leave me alone. But Leia is just like in your face with the love, and she's just like so affectionate, and she just loves to be in your face. and she loves when you kiss her neck. Oh, it's like a weak spot for her. It's like,
And the purring
Kelly
must
was
be
like,
great.
oh my gosh, purring is mad, and that's the only way we know that Luke is actually enjoying when we're giving him love and cuddles is when he actually purrs, and he does purr, and it's
Okay.
like you can see he fights it. He tries to fight like, I won't succumb to
Yeah.
this pleasure, and I'm like, yes, you will.
It's like a
But
crazy little machine.
yeah, I don't know. I felt like when we got them, it was a friend's brother's cat who had kittens. But I think they were like, I'm not too sure why they came in such bad condition, but their mom also passed away like very, very early on after they were born. Um, so we got them at like 5 weeks, 6 weeks. They were super, super, like, she was literally like that small, like in my
Yes.
hand, like in my
Like too
one
small
hand.
to
And
actually go
I,
to people type of thing. And
yeah, and
yes,
I
you do
have
have
very,
small
very
hands.
small hands. Yeah, exactly. She was literally my size, my hand size. And and she had an eye infection and they had
Oh
fleas and
no.
stuff. So we had to really like we washed them, we scrubbed them. I had to take it to the vet. They were sneezing, they had the sniffles, so I had to get them antibiotics. And she had to have eye drops because her eyes were like completely like almost
Oh
closed and stuff.
yes.
And she was like this little shriveled up, like, and she has this bed head. It's so funny. We actually should have named her Hermione. It would have been more fitting.
Oh yes.
Um, but yeah, and to see her now, and she's so massive, and her eyes are so big and beautiful, and it's incredible. But even then, I just felt like Luke doesn't look at you. He doesn't like to like look in your eyes, but Leia will look into your soul. Like
I saw
I
the
swear,
video earlier how the interaction where
she's
she like
like
walked up to
there.
you and she's like, "Hey, I know you. I see you." You know, shout out
It's
Avatar.
crazy. No, literally, I feel like she's sometimes I feel like she's like a human soul in a little cat body. Like when we first got them and we built all these things, we actually built like DIY'd these things for them, like a little climbing post, and
Oh,
we made
nice.
a little bed out of an old suitcase, that kind of thing, and we fed them and we looked after them, and just all the love that she would give me, it almost felt like gratitude, like she's thanking you for looking after her and for helping her and for saving her. And now like she's all pampered and stuff, but she's still there, like, loving you and thanking you for being her mommy. She's
That's
special, man.
amazing.
And it's also exceptionally rare to find a female ginger cat, apparently. So she's
Really.
extra special. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to the gingers out there. Keep, it's a struggle, you know. We feel like we're always on lockdown. Jokes. But okay, so I guess it's nearing that time. But I
Mm-hmm.
just want to ask you, what one book would you recommend? And I mean like sort of your self-development type books, you know. You know, people would say that your
Oh,
Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist or something. You know,
um,
for me it's
I mean, apart
Celestine
from like Paulo
Prophecy,
Coelho, dude, I have no clue where that book is now, but I love that book so much.
I want to read it again, to be honest.
Me too, desperately.
One
I
book,
feel like
just right off the top, to wrap this one up. It's been a great conversation. I did
I've got
feel
so many. I got so many books, apart from all of Eckhart Tolle's books.
like.
Um, I would say, I don't have it here. Let me just Google, because then I can find the author. Is it Herman? No, Herman Hesse's Siddhartha. Siddhartha's a good one too.
Siddhartha.
Um,
I've heard of that, actually. I'm not.
but Benjamin Huff, is it Benjamin? Benjamin Huff. He
Okay.
wrote The Tao of Pooh. Do you know
So
about
what?
Taoism? Do you know about Taoism? It's Tao.
Oh, isn't it like in the Buddha, like with the Buddhists.
It's kind of it's something similar to that. It's kind of like the way of the universe, the way of the world. It's how you kind of like flow with it. And so this
My kind
guy,
of book.
dude, you love this book. It's so like I get so excited talking about it. I love it so much. It's called The Tao of Pooh and The Tale of Piglet. You can get both of them in one book. That's what I got. So The Tao of Pooh uses Winnie the Pooh as
Okay.
kind of like using him and his way of life as an example of Taoism and the way of the universe and how simple life should be. It's literally top of the list, 100% for sure. Tao of Pooh is incredible. I recommend it to every single person.
It's just, but you do know it sounds weird, obviously.
Of course it sounds weird, but I mean, think about it. If, like, you have, everyone knows what Pooh's about. All he wants is to chill and eat his honey. You know what I mean? But it's the way he deals with the situations that is so incredibly simple and also profound in its wisdom. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll have characters like Owl and the rabbit who's just constantly thinking that they know better and they know all these words and all of these things, but if you cut all of that out and you put it in the simplest of ways, Pooh's there and he's just like, well, there's your answer, it's right there, kind of situation.
See.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just like but you know, what if we get lost? He's like, what if we don't? Kind of situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like why think on those things?
Because that's what you're gonna sort of create anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Lao Tzu is the creator of Taoism, but just Google Tao of Pooh, Google Taoism. It's incredible. It's not I don't like to call it a religion or anything like that. It's just a philosophy, if you will. Sorry.
Oh wow, sulfur.
It's more of a philosophy. Sorry, it's more of a philosophy than anything else. I just think it's a beautiful way of living. You know, just scratching out all the bullshit and just walking simply through life. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean like I had somebody who I told to read it, and he kind of didn't get the understanding of it properly. He was just like, oh yeah, I got this message that I didn't want to deal with, so I just put it down. And I'm like, no, it's not telling you to like shove your problems away or whatever. It's telling you to go through them.
Yes.
And go through them. Do you know what I mean? It's telling you to go through those problems, go through the darkness, but also not holding on to anything that's, you know, that it doesn't need to be held on to. Nothing needs to be held on to. So just like walk through it, and in the most simplest of ways that you can. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to put in so much effort or energy into anything. You just have to be.
Just thrive
in that
you
moment.
know,
Yeah.
like a blade of grass doesn't wander anything, it just reaches, and that's
exactly.
all. Okay.
So,
and
yeah,
that's
if there's any metaphors we can take from, just take it from nature for sure.
exactly, because a river that's dam doesn't flow, and I just thought of that, I guess. And that was it. So that was a great conversation. I don't know how you felt about that, but
that was cool.
Cause when you see me out, I'ma turn up. They gon' turn up too. I'm with the homies, what it